Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Yo, listen, this is the best wrestling alive, Platinum Max, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling podcast.
This is the original The Blue Meanie, and you're watching and listening to We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling podcast. Check them out, man.
Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie might teach you a thing or two.
We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling.
All right, Chris Jericho here, and we're going to listen to and watch We Are Wrestling.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Mavis. And the facts are, I steal all my information from right here. We Are Wrestling.
Everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone should tell me where we are. 'Cause everywhere I go,
the grind is real.
What's good, guys? Dan Eddie here, your We Are Wrestling Predictions champion. I heard you guys are liking me as champion right now, like my title reign.
Well, he needs to come up with his own shit, because I was the one that started the whole eat shit. So, Dan Eddie, you need to stop trying to be a copy champion.
That's just too damn bad. I got the title. Saying, I can't be a copy champion, and you say eat shit. Well, I'll just say GG's, as in get good, because that's what you're going to have to do to end my title reign this time. Danny, how does it feel to lose your title shot by a wrestler that WWE hired as a comedic relief?
Yeah, very nice, very evil.
Just a few months prior. It's kind of ironic, really, because that basically describes your last title reign.
Guy gets lucky once, and fucking that's the end of the world. He turns into fucking Roman Reigns.
You want to say like I'm acting like Roman Reigns? Okay then, acknowledge me, bitch. And Donnie, you are right. You are the best one. The best one to take this title away from. You get to just stare at it, knowing that this title was just in the palm of your hands just a few weeks ago. You were able to hold on to it. Now you get to just stare at it. How does it feel, Donnie, that the day you sent this gorgeous title in the mail is the day you officially stamped the end of your title reign? Perhaps you should go back down to the mid-card and, practice your game with Phil, considering he got more points than you and Danny Huckins anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna go enjoy my gorgeous title here while you guys all fight over who's second best. And if you guys don't like that, then I've got two words for you.
Suck it! I am already so sick of this title reign. What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself. The best one, Donnie here with...
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 to 1/4 of the We Are Wrestling podcast, man. I'm coming to you. I look like I've been on the beach, man. I got a little burnt, but you know what? It's okay. I am here. I am crispy. I am ready for some predictions.
Oh yeah, because it's AEW All-In week. Some are saying half in. But we're going to be giving our full predictions for AEW All-In as of right now, with the card happening Thursday, August 27th, in case you are listening to this a little bit later. But we also have some news that we're going to be talking about as well this week. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode, wherever you get your podcast, leave us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and give us a follow. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac, you're already over on the YouTube channel where you get the best premium pro wrestling content, live watch-alongs. You get a live We Are Wrestling podcast every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get reactions. You get so much additional great pro wrestling content. And, of course, if you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos, and live streams be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And, of course, you already know the grind is real.
The grind is real, man. How are you doing today?
Definitely a lot better today than I was this past weekend camping.
Oh, how was your experience out there with in the wilderness with the monsters and the bugs and the having to piss behind a tree and all that other camping stuff? Fishing? Did you go fishing? Did you fry some hamburgers or hot dogs on the fucking fire pit? Like, what'd you do?
Well, I will share a quick funny story. So, Danny, if you were to go camping, what's one of the most important things that you would bring?
Bug spray.
Or all right, anything else? Keep naming stuff, and I'll stop you.
A sleeping bag.
All right, sleeping bag. But what do you need on top of, what do you need inside the sleeping bag?
A tent? I don't know.
There you go. A tent. I thought I had the tent packed. I didn't! So there is no tent in my tote because I had a feeling that something was not right. So I take out my red tote in the garage, and I thought that, the rain guard was over my tent. But then when we go to unpack the car, there's no tent. So I had to drive an hour away to Dick's Sporting Goods because there was, no Walmart either. It was, an hour and a half probably. So I had to drive an hour to Dick's Sporting Goods and spend $200 on a fucking tent. And then after that, everything just went to shit. But on the bright side, the last day before I left, I went to the dumpsters, and I did find $40 on the ground.
That's
so
great.
That was a good thing. But it's really humid, really crappy time to camp. I feel like spring and fall is probably a better time.
Where'd you not to dox you, but where'd you go?
I went to Wellfleet State Hollow Campground.
Is that out near Cape Cod, out in that area?
Yep, that's out in Cape Cod, which is why there was no Walmart nearby, so I literally had to drive an hour away.
Camping equals cosplaying being homeless. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I felt homeless when I didn't bring the tent. Oh my goodness, it was awful.
Yeah, but homeless people don't have
a plan.
Homeless people don't have $200 and they can't drive an hour away to buy a tent.
And also, too, I was going to vlog, I was vlogging this entire trip, but then, everything was just going to shit, so, there's going to be no vlog. Because I just gave up.
Look at Tyrus, man. Can we show some love to Tyrus? My guy is going to AEW All In on Sunday, man. I hope you have a fantastic fucking time, bro.
Hell yeah, Tyrus. And what is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs? We got a lot of you here in the live chat. You already know I'm going to act like I'm working Sunday while watching All In. Well, we'll be doing a live watch-along here on the We Are Wrestling channel. Josh Toy Show, what's up, Donnie and Danny? What is going on? Eric, weed. I did smoke a lot of weed when I was camping. Needed it. But, yeah, man, it was overall not the best trip. Last summer, there was no humidity either, so that was kind of nice. So I'm definitely gonna have to go camping when it gets a little bit colder.
That's why I got burnt. If I took off my hat right now, my hat left a fucking permanent impression on my forehead. I went for a walk yesterday, and
you actually went outside your house?
Yes, I touched grass, bro. Contrary to the popular belief that pro wrestling fans don't ever go outside.
Clap for Danny in the live chat, please.
You need to have one of those sound effects. But the kids were in school. The wife was out at an appointment or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out for a walk. I'm going to play Pokemon Go. And
getting your
Bro, when
flowers.
I tell you I got the meanest fucking sunburn on my face.
How long were you outside for?
Oh God, maybe 2.5, 3 hours, maybe.
Damn.
Like, I want to show you, but I don't want anybody to fucking like. There's gonna be a clip on the We Are Wrestling pages everywhere. Hold on.
Yeah. Wait a minute. One more time. One more time. No way. It's funny because my cousin Joey, he works on the roofs. He does like solar and like he wears like a snapback just like you all the time,
Yeah.
and he has that same thing.
Achievement unlocked. Danny touches grass. 30 points. Yes, man. I'm heading towards the lead.
Oh yeah, we got
Better 10 than MJF.
MJF.
Hey, this isn't fake, buddy.
Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, we got a really good segue to get into, but we might as well start things off with the We Are Wrestling power of the poll. Every week in the beginning of the podcast, we tell all you We Are Wrestling maniacs to go to the We Are Wrestling community tab over on the YouTube page. We give you guys 1 week to cast your vote. And of course, for this week's power of the poll, we had to ask an AEW question. How's it going, Rach? But getting into the power of the poll, we asked you guys this week an AEW related question, and that is, which day one AEW signing has been the most successful? And here are the results for this week's power of the poll. MJF with the sweep. 76% of you guys picked MJF.
This motherfucker's doing it twice.
There we go. MJF with the win, 76%, while 9% went with Hangman Adam Page, 8% went with Chris Jericho, 7% went with our current AEW champion, Kenny Omega. So for this week's power of the poll, I already know last week you kind of gave your input because we didn't know like how the schedule was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you guys my thoughts on this.
Hey, hold on, real quick. I know we're on tight schedule tonight. This is my shocked face. See, do you see how shocked I am about the results? There's nobody in AEW doing what MJF is doing. Continue.
It's obvious. MJF is easily the best AEW signing of all time. There's no question about that. And that's the thing, like with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, like they both have had legendary Hall of Fame careers, but they've had bigger success outside of All Elite Wrestling. Like I would say like maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'd give that to Kenny Omega. But in like Jericho, like I can give him maybe WCW, like in the Cruiserweight division, WWE, obviously. But MJF has obviously been the best homegrown guy they've had, and he's just naturally grown from just somebody in the indies to the main event guy, to a Hollywood star. So this is just a no-brainer here. Hangman Adam Page has had great storylines. He's a great storyteller. But I just think that there's so much more to MJF brings to the product than Hangman.
It's kind of crazy because only a couple years before AEW actually formed, you ended up seeing him at a local show at a bingo hall in fucking Westfield, Mass. So, you know.
Yep, and on a baseball field in Enfield, Connecticut, too.
Yeah.
So I've watched MJF grown through the years. So, like, I was always, like, following him. Like, I remember when he first got signed to MLW before AEW was a thing. And I was rooting for him heavily. And I'm just glad that, like, people are seeing what I saw years prior. Danny, you are getting roasted bad in here. We got freaking old school Phil here, filling you in. Rage, did you see that Danny sunburn looks like a circumcised hot dog? Danny, your head looks like a fucking paint sample, divorced dad, white. Oh my god. Oh.
It's okay, man.
And now he's looking like a freaking tomato.
That's because I'm laughing, bro.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like, come on, bro. I can't make this up. Like, bro. Oh my
Well,
god.
congratulations to MJF on winning this week's Power of the Poll, and he has the potential of winning next week's. Because speaking of sunburns and tans, we're asking you guys a special question for next week's Power of the Poll. Who has the worst spray tan in pro wrestling? Your four options you have are Braun Breaker, MJF, Matt Cardona, and Triple H. And since you're not going to be here next week, Danny, I'll let you answer this one.
I'd probably have to say, I mean, it all depends because it changes every week. But like, you know, some weeks is better, it's worse than others. I have to, like, in the picture that's right there, I'd have to say Braun Breaker. Like, you know, that's a little bit too much, man.
A little too much. Well, guys, if you really want to go do the research, you can cast your vote. You have a whole week to vote. And next week, we'll have the results for the Power of the Poll. All right. Well, a couple things to advertise. First off, if you haven't got yourself a We Are Wrestling is Unreal shirt, go get one right now over on ProWrestlingTees.com. We have so many awesome designs over there.
It'll help prevent sunburns.
And it
I
will
wasn't
help
wearing
prevent
mine that day.
sunburns. Danny should have been wearing his that day.
I should have. Maybe Donnie, where should I go to get one?
ProWrestlingTees.com. Best
now we
place
know.
to get your wrestling t-shirts, even though they do kind of got to fix their website. But we do have the Wrestling Classic coming up on Saturday, October 24th. We Are Wrestling have been a part of the Classic going all the way back to the very first one. And it's not going to be any different. The Wrestling Classic 7 is taking place at the Zombie Hideout on Cooley Street in Springfield, Mass. And a couple of the names that we do have confirmed as of right now are Heidenreich being brought in by Premium Signatures. We have the Young Stallions, old school tag team. And, of course, Zombie Hideout is bringing in Gail Kim, TNA Knockout Hall of Famer, and WWE ring announcer Lillian Garcia. And there's going to be so many more names to be announced. This event's taking place in just about less than a month at this point. We're getting there. So a lot more names are going to be announced within the next couple months. So definitely stay tuned for that. We Are Wrestling.
About 2 months.
About 2 months
October 24th. It's only August, so.
Well, we have 2 months, and a lot of announcements are going to be made. And if you want more information on the Classic and you want to get your ticket, go follow Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner over on Facebook. So definitely,
We should
stay tuned.
We should let everybody know that there is no tickets because it's free admission.
Oh, yes. But you can get yourself your meet and greet tickets, though.
Yes, you can.
But to go to the Classic this year for the first time ever, you don't have to pay to get in. So you can walk in for free, and that money that you could have spent on a ticket, you can go to a vendor's table, which We Are Wrestling will have a table at this event. And you could also go and meet wrestlers that will be at a bunch of tables throughout the store. So this is an event, guys, I highly recommend not missing. And if you are in the Western Mass, Connecticut area and you're contemplating on whether or not you should go, we have a whole playlist here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel of all 6 of the wrestling classics. Because I went to the very first one, and We Are Wrestling, we vendored at the 3rd. So there's a lot of great content there. We even brought in Blue Meaty last year and Nunzio the year prior.
Nunzio, who just got interviewed by the one, the only, Mr. Chris Van Vliet.
Mr. Chris Van Vliet. And also, whilst camping, I did do a special video that I do want to share with the Maniacs in case they're not following me over on social media at Best One Donnie. So here it is. We're going to go full screen. What is up, Best Ones Worldwide? It's the Best One Donnie here. Ready to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. This is for a good cause. And there is 2 people in the wrestling community that I do want to give a shout out real quick to. First off, Rebel, AEW superstar, former TNA Knockout. She's right now dealing with ALS, and everybody in the wrestling community, we're here for you. And also, deathmatch wrestler Jeff Cannonball, somebody who I watched in the independent circuit for years. He's been battling it, so my heart goes out to him. And of course, somebody that is close to my family, I want to give a shout out to Grampy, Meadows' grandfather. Nelson. He's battling ALS right now, and there's 3 people I want to nominate. First being my co-host, Danny Huckins, because he's afraid to go outside, so I want you to go outside and get a bucket of ice on your head. Next one, Rage Circus. Ben, nominating you, because you're out in Ohio now, so I think you can get a nice little cool down. And last but not least, Dan Eddy, because you took my championship. So, here it goes.
You ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Woo! The grind is real, baby. Woo! There it is, man. That's right. I did do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and I wanted to nominate my co-host. This is for a good cause. There's, of course, a couple wrestlers in the community who are affected right now by ALS. Rebel being one of them. She's been a part of TNA, Impact, and recently, since the beginning of AEW, she's been a part of it as well with Dr. Britt Baker, and she got diagnosed, unfortunately. But for more information on ALS, guys, we do have the link here in the live chat, and we'll also be putting it in the comments, the pinned post. But guys, recommend you to be a part of this.
Yeah, it's always a good cause. I did the ice bucket challenge. I'm obviously gonna do it again. But I did it years ago, back in like 2012, 2013 or whatever, and I think Ben actually did it with me. And you know, it's always for a good cause, man. It's always for a good cause. So.
It's definitely for a good cause, and we also nominate all you We Are Wrestling Maniacs and Best Ones.
All
and
of you,
Daniacs
man. All of
to
you.
do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, so there's no excuse. You've been nominated by the We Are Wrestling Podcast, so we want to see those videos on social media. Tag us. We'll share them here on the pod. And we'll also be talking more about the AEW show that they're going to be doing, and all the proceeds are going to be going to Rebel and ALS to fight the cure. So we'll definitely be covering that. Probably do a live watch along here and donate.
That's gonna
all
be
the
on my birthday,
proceeds
so I'm
to
gonna
ALS.
be going live for it as well. So it's gonna be on my birthday, man.
Absolutely. But before we get into this week's episode, we might as well give you guys a quick little lineup preview for the show. So with our TV recap this week, we're going to be talking about Sammy costing Kevin Owens the championship in his match against CM Punk. The phenomenal son, Avery Styles, signing with TNA. Leon Slater winning the X Division Championship and cashing in Option C at Bound for Glory against Nick Nemeth. OTM making their main roster debut with Royce Keys. New faction on Monday Night Raw. And of course, we're going to be talking about in our weekly news and rumors, Angel Garza making some more comments about the IWC needing to mind their own business and stop pretending that they can write the shows. Also, we're going to be talking about New Day possibly showing up at AEW All In. That'll be in the beginning of our predictions. And Tony Khan doing his round media call. We're going to be talking some of those recaps there. And then for the main event, AEW All In predictions. So we got a stacked show lined up. So with that being said, it's time we get into the weekly TV recap.
Let's do it, man.
It's time for the We Are Wrestling Podcast weekly TV recap. And it looks like our co-host Rage on his week off is taking a dump and watching the pod. What a life. And don't worry, guys, Rage Circus will be back next week with me.
As long as he doesn't take a dump on the pod, then, you know, I think we'll be good.
I think we'll be good. All right, let's get into our TV recap here. And usually we have 5, but because this is a pay-per-view predictions, we did cut it down to 4, and there's really not a lot to talk about here, but we might as well start off with last Friday on SmackDown. CM Punk retained the WWE Undisputed Championship against Kevin Owens with the help from Sami Zayn. What's your thoughts on this?
The match was good. SmackDown was a bore to me. And like there was really nothing else on the show that was really even worth watching, let alone talking about. But the entire hour and a half leading up to Punk and Punk and Owens is the only thing this show revolved around. 15,000 people, Toronto. It was a fantastic match with a fantastic story. This is what you call a blood feud, kind of. I would say this is more personal than Punk's feud with Rollins was, because even though that was somewhat personal or whatever, the depths of personal go deeper with Kevin Owens because it took place like back in their day in the Indies before they got signed to a major company. CM Punk, everybody knows the story. CM Punk fucking screamed and yelled at Owens, in the locker room or whatever on ROH show. They're not going to mention ROH on WWE TV. We know why. But it was fantastic, man. I enjoyed it. We knew that there was going to be no title change, and we knew that Sami Zayn was going to get involved because Sami Zayn, he was supposed to have a number one contenders match the week prior. Randy Orton ended up screwing him out of that. Like, this dude is going to get driven to his breaking points, and we knew that he was going to get involved. I did not know he was actually gonna, do what he did to Kevin Owens. I did think he was gonna, fuck up CM Punk because he just doesn't seem like he likes him very much.
Oh, I called that shit. I saw it happening from a mile away. But they made me believe it wasn't going to happen during the match. I loved every second of this, going from the entrances all the way to the very end with Sami taking the championship. I thought this was amazing storytelling. Like, I love that, like, immediately Kevin and CM Punk were trying to go at it. And then, like, even the ring announcer had to stop them, which I thought really brought some realism to this entire matchup. And, like, this is what I want more in the WWE. This is what I want with more storylines. Because the Kevin Owens and CM Punk, it felt real. They both legitimately don't like each other. And they also, like, portrayed that perfectly on TV. So I really do hope, like, moving forward, like, with the feuds, like, we start taking different approaches and it's not just the same thing over and over and over again. So with Owens and Punk, it felt fresh, it felt new, and honestly, this would be a rivalry that I can enjoy this for the next 6 months and probably not get bored. I know a lot of people probably, with their attention spans, would get bored of it. I wouldn't, because Owens and Punk, they know how to deliver. They know how to tell a good story. And this match was incredible. Kevin Owens, you wouldn't even think that this dude was out for 18 months, the way that he was wrestling in that match. Punk and him looked great out there, and Sami getting involved. I don't know how I feel about another Kevin Owens and CM Punk, or Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud, because we have seen that. We have done that in NXT, main roster several times. But it does make sense at the same time because Owens was involved in that SummerSlam match, pinned Sami. Sami feels like he got screwed. So it does make sense why they would go after each other. It's just, come on, really? We're going to do this again?
I feel like it's going to be a little bit different this time around, though.
Agree.
You know what I mean? Because the other times I feel like Kevin Owens was more like, the bad guy in those
He was
situations.
the heel, Sami was
And
the
it just
face.
seems like it. I don't necessarily know if Sami Zayn's like turning heel, or if he's just, like I said, same thing with Cody, with everything that he's gone through, the punt in the face and everything that the Rock's put him through and like beating him in front of his mother. Like, every man has their breaking point, to where like they can be cool, calm, and collected, but there always comes a time to where they just fucking snap. And I feel like we're on the verge of seeing that with Sami.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I actually love, like, the new character approach that they're doing with Sami here. Like, I feel like he's gotten way more interesting since doing the whole, like, last real good guy. Like, I've been really invested in what they've been doing.
Bro, I want to get a vote for Sami, or justice for Sami shirt, man.
Sami.
I want to get one.
But I don't know, man. I really did enjoy this from start to finish. I thought it was really good. And I love that, like, on the SmackDown roster, everybody is trying to go after the WWE Championship, and I think that's why, like, I've been enjoying SmackDown. Like, I also really did like the opening of the show, too, the way they did it, because it was different. Like, it wasn't just your typical, you start off in the ring, you cut a promo. Like, it all started backstage with all this Randy Orton and just there was so like and Sammy trying to like talk to all this, but then Cody is like on the TV screen. Like I've been enjoying SmackDown the last couple weeks, and I might be one of the few. Since
SmackDown.
SummerSlam, it's gotten better.
I will say the two SmackDowns after SummerSlam were good. This one, with the hype being around Punk and Owens, you would think it would have been a really good show, like from top to bottom, but it really wasn't. The tag team match was good with the MFTs, R-Truth and Damian Priest, and obviously the main event, but like you would think they would have fucking like really put their first, their first foot forward and like really like book that show to be like from top to bottom really, really good, but for whatever reason they fell flat.
Yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from with that. But let's see what we have for the live chat real quick about this match. Tyrus, I love the Punk heel teasing. Probably not going to happen, but it sure elevated KO's face. I did like the whole like away team heat that CM Punk did. Also the mask, like his entrance gear was sick. I did like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Toy Show, glad to see KO back, but Sammy didn't need to stick his nose in the match, but overall match was really good. He did need to.
Yes, he did, because Kevin Owens just came back, and if he took a clean loss, I mean, people have been like, oh, they buried Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens lost because of Sami Zayn. You know what I mean? CM Punk took advantage. So, like, that's the only credible ending that you could have had. You know what I mean?
It makes sense because Sammy is now not given another title opportunity for the belt that he got screwed out of against CM Punk, holding the title for 9 days. So, of course, Sammy's going to get involved in any championship match. And I think that makes logical sense. I think it would be stupid if he didn't.
Yep.
But maybe this does lead to a triple threat. We'll have to wait and see. But let's move on to
CM Punk's not scheduled for Saturday night or Sunday night's main event, so I don't know.
Well, let's get into some TNA Lockdown recaps here. During the beginning of TNA Lockdown, Avery Styles, the Phenomenal Son, announced that he is now signed to TNA Wrestling. What's your thoughts on this?
I actually like it. You know, it's been many years. I think since like 2015, when AJ left, and then 2016 he finally, because I know he spent some time in Japan before he went to WWE. So like it's been years since we've seen a Styles in TNA, and I always feel like when AJ Styles was sort of at that top of that mountain is when, TNA started to thrive or whatever. So to have that, like, even though it's not AJ, it's his son, it's still going to have some AJ influences. You know what I mean? You're telling me that AJ is not going to end up showing up on the show or whatever, or maybe working a program at some point with his son. Knowing that WWE has some kind of a partnership with TNA, I think he'll be able to do that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. I know people are saying, oh, he's only had a couple matches. There's people that work years that aren't signed, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. Well, their father's not AJ Styles. And if there's people like Brett Lauderdale, the owner of GCW, saying that, like, he's in all the years that he's been doing this, he's never seen somebody with the least amount of experience as good as Avery Styles is, I mean, that speaks volumes, I feel like. You know what I mean? Because somebody like, Brett Lauderdale, he sees a lot of talent. Everybody from, TNA to some WWE with the Bloodsport, with AEW sometimes, MJF and Moxie, work GCW sometimes, and just a lot of those names. So somebody like him being like, I've never seen a kid as green but as good and as gifted as this kid. I think we need to give him a chance. Give him a couple months. If you still think that he shouldn't be in TNA, that's fair game. But I mean, I wouldn't write it off without him having his first match yet.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a business. And obviously, AJ Styles, a lot of people want to say, like, SmackDown was the house that AJ built. Nah, man, AJ Styles built the TNA house.
Oh, yeah.
Let's call it like it is. There is no TNA without the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. So, of course, this makes so much sense to sign Avery Styles, even if he is green. Because guess what? When AJ first started in the business, he was green as well. And he was green for a while in his career. And
He
even
was
talks
in
about it-
WCW, but he was in the tail end, like right before
Yeah, but
WCW
in
got bought out.
WCW, he was clean. He was green.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the thing. AJ talks about it. Like, he felt like he was green, I think, all the way until he went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, where, like, he really felt like he found who the phenomenal one AJ Styles really is. Like, he always was really good in the ring, always put on classics, and he was always the underdog. So with Avery Styles, this is one of those low-risk, high-rewards situations because guess what? Like, he is very new. He is very green. And that's the thing. Sometimes in a promotion, those are some of the best wrestlers that you could build your company around because that is how I believe you make a blockbuster. That's how you get a household name.
Yeah.
You have to let them go through the growing pains. You have to let them learn. You have to let them grow. Like, look at John Cena. I think if we didn't get a couple years of him just in the basic, like, biker short attire before he started doing Thuganomics, John Cena would not have the depth that he had throughout his legendary Hall of Fame career. Roman Reigns also had to go through struggles with the big dog once the Shield broke up. He had to make those mistakes. He had to get embarrassed on the microphone against John Cena and other guys. Because guess what? Without that depth, the Tribal Chief, the OTC, wouldn't be as big of a star as he is. So with Avery Styles, this is a fantastic move by TNA. I could understand the other side of it as well, with people saying, well, there's a lot of more independent guys who have been going every weekend to shows for years that deserve an opportunity. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. I'm a huge advocate for independent wrestling, and I think there's plenty of guys, especially in our Northeast area, that I think should be signed to a TV contract.
Sammy Diaz, top 5, dead or alive.
TJ Crawford's another good guy, too. Bobby Orlando.
Charles Mason. Sign that motherfucker,
There's
man.
a lot of great, talented wrestlers all over the independent circuit, all across the world. But you said it. They're not AJ Styles' son. And look, if AJ Styles had a couple year, like maybe like a 2 or 3 year run in TNA, and it was just like a handshake and a hot dog, then yeah, this is one of those signings where you could say like, oh, like this is just Nepo baby. Like this is stupid. He got it handed to him. But dude, AJ built TNA. So come on.
And I
talked about this last week on the show. How I want there to be something for me to really get invested in. This is it. I want to see AJ Styles' son. This gives me a reason to tune in. People are tuning into NXT right now because of Zilla Fatu, because of the Fatu name. You can hate like generational wrestlers. You could say what you want, but at the end of the day, it's a business. They're going to make you money, and they're a draw. Zilla got over 5 million views off his clip, let alone for his debut. If not
exactly.
more.
And like the whole thing with Avery Styles, like, you know, if all AJ would have had to do was make one phone call to Triple H or whoever, you know, heads the performance center, you know, to get his son in there or whatever, but he didn't. You know, he worked the indies. He did several indie shows, worked for GCW, and now he's working for TNA. I think TNA is the perfect stepping stone to really like get to the next level. Like, think everybody that's signed to that roster, man. You got Nick Nemeth, you got the Hardys, you got Frankie Kazarian. You know
stop
what
talking
I mean?
about the vets. All right, I love the veterans.
No, but what I'm saying,
we need to talk about the young guys because there's a lot of great young homegrown stars that they're signing.
What I'm saying is those guys can show Avery what to do and what not to do because they've experienced it. You know what I mean?
You're right. That is valuable. That is important. But also getting to grow with more younger guys that haven't been signed to TV deals, I think is going to do
I think him
great
and
things
Leon
for him.
Slater would put on a fucking clinic, bro. Not even gonna lie. I've seen some of Avery's stuff. Like when he in his first match, I think he did that fucking baseball slide underneath the barricade and then fucking hopped up on it and did the phenomenal form. Bro, like he's got it, man. I'm telling you, he's fucking got it.
Dude, I think like low key because I think a lot of people haven't talked about this when it comes to Avery Styles. But I feel like he was somebody just like Sting's son I think that like they did training longer than like the average person at a wrestling school because like I feel like both of those guys are way too good for
Yeah.
like little to like no matches.
Yeah.
So you know that they have been putting a lot of work behind closed doors. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Avery Styles, this is perfect for him because in TNA, he also could work independent shows as well. And
Yeah.
he's going to learn the TV style of wrestling, which is also just as important as getting those reps every weekend in a bingo hall. I love this
Exactly,
move
and, like,
for TNA. This is
I-
fantastic.
You know, whether people like Avery Styles or not for whatever reason, I
He's
think
good.
AJ Styles is right in his opinion. No, AJ Styles, knowing how this business is, knowing how, you know, how competitive it is. If Avery was not ready, AJ would not have, you know, would not be putting this much effort to get his kid on a bigger spotlight. You know what I mean? Like, he must see something in his kid like people haven't seen before. So
Agree, and that's the thing too. A lot of people want to compare Avery Styles to Dirty Dominic Mysterio and say that like he's gonna end up being like Dom before the
the
heel
first couple
turn.
years, Dominic wore fucking Rey Mysterio's outfit. The only thing he didn't do was wear a mask.
But here's the thing. A lot of people are comparing him trying to be his dad, to Dominic Mysterio trying to be his dad, except he didn't wear a mask. But I think like it's different with Avery Styles and AJ Styles because they did the stuff in the indies. They did the stuff in TNA wrestling beforehand. Dirty Dom went right to WWE. So he was already immediately thrown to the pack of wolves. So those mistakes, he wasn't on NXT.
But he kind of
wasn't
had
on
an
Evolve.
he kind of had an
He didn't
advantage.
have time.
He kind of had an advantage too because he didn't have his first match until the Thunderdome era, so he didn't have people in real time, like in the audience, like critiquing him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he
but
has
that's
now.
still a very weird,
And
uncomfortable
I
position to be
I want to
in.
bring this up. Josh Soiso says, I also feel like the son of the wrestler gets advanced work to be ready for the big moments. Think of how many kids, right, who, you know, have famous dads or moms or whatever in pro wrestling, you know, go on to have very mediocre careers and barely make a dent into any company. But also, on the other hand, you have dads who are pro wrestlers who don't even reach even close to reaching the heights that their kids reached. For instance, Jake the Snake Roberts, his dad was a pro wrestler. I didn't know that until he said anything. I've never seen a match. I've never seen I've never seen anything. But Jake the Snake Roberts, even though he's before my time, like he was one of the biggest pro wrestlers in the 90s. You know what I mean? So like you can look at it like that as well. You know, when you're a second or third generation superstar and you have somebody like AJ Styles as your father, you know, those are big shoes to fill. And if Avery Styles was not ready, AJ Styles would not agree to any of this. He would not put his son in jeopardy.
And that's the thing too. At the same time, we're gonna see what happens with Avery Styles, and a lot of people think that he's being just like his dad. All right, let's give it time. Let's see if it works. Because
Give it a
guess
couple
what?
months.
He's going to learn. He's going to grow, and that's the thing that I love about these green wrestlers getting signed to bigger companies, because it's somebody that you are eventually going to be able, like, it's going to grow. Like, you're going to be a little caterpillar and you're going to blossom into a beautiful butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, in some cases, it's a huge success. In other cases, it's not. But I think Avery Styles definitely has the right people guiding him, and I think working with Frankie Kazarian as his first, like, program, I think is the right move.
I thought, bro, when Frank Kazarian came out, when Avery announced that he signed to TNA, I thought he was gonna come out as like this prick or whatever and start, you know, poking and prodding, you know, the new kid. I thought Avery was gonna lay him the fuck out. I was surprised when he just was like, "I'm here for you," and then he just turned and walked away. I was like, that didn't go how I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have our Thunder champion Phil in here. End of the day, it's called the wrestling business. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But here on We Are Wrestling, we do wish Avery Styles nothing but the absolute best. And I hope TNA continues to pick up this momentum and continue to sign more of these younger guys and really build what helped them become successful. It was the AJ Styles, the Samoa Joes, and the Christopher Daniels. So I hope that they go into that route more. And
Don't
AJ
forget
Styles,
Beer Money. Don't
perfect-
forget
perfect
fucking
step.
Frankie Kazarian. You know.
Well, there's a lot of names that we can go off this entire episode and talk about. But we got some more topics to cover. And we got another TNA Lockdown recap. At TNA Lockdown, Leon Slater defeated Cedric to win back the TNA X Division Championship after Nick Nemeth retained the TNA World title and became the tag team champion. Leon announced that he's using his option C at Bound for Glory. So Nick Nemeth will be defending the World Championship against Leon Slater. What's your thoughts on this being the main event going into Bound for Glory on October 11th?
I'm interested in it. You know, like I said, like, you know, how the Hardys match ended, it was very abrupt or whatever. And then when Leon Slater came out, you know, he you know, beat Cedric earlier on in the night, and then he just forfeited the, you know, the X Division title, and you know, he's picking up a match with Nick Nemeth at Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory looks like it's going to be a really big show, so I'm looking forward to that. And like the fact that they're giving somebody like Leon Slater that spot, you know what I mean? Like how many pro wrestlers would kill to have a main event on a pay-per-view, especially a big one like Bound for Glory? The last one we saw had the Hardys and Dudleys on it. You know, like how many wrestlers would kill to get a main event on a pay-per-view that big against somebody of the likes of Nick Nemeth for a world title? Like that's a huge spot. I don't think he's gonna win. But I hope they do it in a creative way to still make him look like a worthy competitor.
I really do like this for Leon, and I hope that like when the contract does get expired, Leon doesn't go to WWE or AEW, because like I really genuinely love Leon, and like I want there to be some more loyalty with TNA wrestling. I know that they don't get the viewership like AEW or WWE, but like TNA is starting to really build something here. And that's the problem. They're not going to be able to continue to build and get bigger if these stars are going to go over to WWE or AEW.
Yeah, but the thing is, bro, it's not about being loyal. It's about like TNA only has so much money to go around. Like they're already giving
and the wrestlers got
big contracts or whatever, and like they only have enough money to sign short-term deals. I think oh, what the fuck's her name? The women GM, fucking Sonya Deville. What's her name? Daria. Like I think when she signed, I heard that she only signed like a 3 or 4 month deal. I don't know if that's extended or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like 6 months, and then I think there was like an option for like
they only have enough money to go. They only have so much money to go around. So like, you know, I would rather these talents sign for however long for a decent amount of money. And I would rather them go somewhere else than have to re-sign for less money. You know what I mean? Because I feel like with the amount of work that wrestlers put in, like we've seen it. We go to indie shows, like we know, like
they deserve as much money as possible.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So like,
no, I get what you're saying. I get that, but like, I also think if TNA wants to grow and they want to make more money and they want to give out more long-term contracts and deals, you need your top guys that you're putting your stock into to stay loyal. There's a reason why the reason why TNA from 2002 to probably about 2014, we had those TNA originals, because a lot of them, they had opportunities to go to WWE. One of them being Abyss. Abyss had an opportunity to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania 23. But you know what he did? He believed in the TNA product, so he did take that pay cut, and he stayed loyal to TNA. And guess what? That helped the promotion out, because you have to have those homegrown stars that you could build your company around. And unfortunately, the last few years, a lot of the stock that TNA put into their talent, they ended up leaving. We saw Motor City Machine Guns. They went to WWE, as they should have, because they've been loyal to TNA for years. Jordan Grace, Mike Santana, Joe Hendry. Also seeing the Rascals that they've kind of put a little stock into. They went over to AEW. Deonna Purrazzo, she was their top freaking knockout. And then she goes over to AEW. So, like, we do need to get some loyalty here with some of these young guys. And Leon is still super young. He still has a lot of years left in the business, especially if he continues to go the path that he's going.
I'll tell you what.
He'll be in WWE or AEW eventually, but right now, stay loyal to TNA.
If Leon wanted...
Money's not everything.
If Leon wanted to, after his contract expires, and I thought this was the original plan or whatever, I thought him and Javon Evans were such a great team. I feel like if he did want to go to WWE after his TNA deal expires and like sort of form a tag team with Javon Evans, one, I think they'd be entertaining as shit, and two, they would really fucking help the tag team division in WWE.
Agree, 1,000%. Like, I did like them teaming together. But I will say, going into Bound for Glory, this is the right move. Because Leon, obviously, TNA has put a lot of stock into him. So I think having him go against Nick Nemeth, that's a great move. That's a storyline I could see myself getting invested in.
TNA is actually going to be live tonight. It's not a pre-tape show, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I'll be watching it after the pod. But let's move on now to some WWE stuff. Our last TV recap for this week. On Raw, during the LA Knight and Solo Sikoa versus Usos main event, we saw the return of Royce Keys and the debut of NXT Tag Team OTM, attacking everybody. What's your thoughts on the new faction and the heel turn?
I like it. OTM, I'm familiar with them from NXT. They were sort of like, their gimmick was sort of like based on like the GTA video games. And they have like the GTA like kind of like graphics or whatever in their like entrance and stuff like that. And they used to be with Jada Parker. Jada Parker's not with them anymore. This surprised the hell out of me because I didn't hear anything about OTM possibly getting called up to the main roster. I heard nothing from anybody. And I watch, Sap. I listen to fucking, Brian Alvarez. Like, I listen to a lot of these people, and you'd think I would have heard something, but I heard nothing. They kept this extremely quiet.
Good.
I like it. I still think Royce Keys has, the best spine buster in the business. And I always thought, like, whenever he would come out, and he would just, come out for the save, and he'd be wearing the stupid fucking singlet, or he would be backstage wearing the singlet, I was like, come on, bro. Like, is that the only thing that you fucking own? So I'm glad. I like the fact that he actually wore, he wore like combat boots and he wore fucking jeans and a fucking
those were combat boots. He was wearing some freaking good old Timberland boots.
Yeah, Timberlands. You know what I mean? So like,
those things hurt.
I like that. He was wearing like, actual clothes. It's just, normal people don't go around just wearing fucking their gear all the time.
Unless you're
like,
Pac from the Death Rider.
Yeah. I don't think he owns a t-shirt. And trust me, if I looked like him, I wouldn't wear I wouldn't own a t-shirt either. Some of us are built different. I like it though. And here's how I kind of feel like this is gonna go, and I don't know if you feel the same way.
Wait,
but I feel like
share that. Let me share my thoughts real quick on this, and then I'll let you fantasy book here. I love this. Royce Keys, OTM. This is great because nobody saw this coming. Like, I didn't even think of it. Like, I know Jacob took out Royce, but I just didn't think about, okay, what's next for Royce Keys? I thought maybe we would just get the typical babyface Royce coming back, trying to get revenge on Jacob. But I'm glad that that's not the case here. I love that he brought back up because, of course, Jacob's got the entire bloodline. So it does make sense for OTM to be with Royce. And I think, like, this is great as well for the tag division. We have another legitimate tag team, which we do need desperately on Raw. Seems like SmackDown's starting to slowly pick it up a little bit. They're featuring him a little bit more on TV. But I think that OTM being with Royce, this is great. And this is different. This is new. So honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do here because now this adds another dynamic to this entire storyline.
Yep, exactly.
But what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know if you're in agreement with this, but I could definitely see with the history of Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys, and they went well into their history, and I didn't realize how long their friendship goes. I could see Jacob Fatu, because I don't necessarily know if I see Royce Keys as quote unquote a leader of, especially of like a group. You know what I mean? I just don't think he's got that star power to him yet. That could change, but yet people in WWE are still getting used to him. You know what I mean? He's only been in for a short time. I kind of feel I could kind of see a world where Jacob Fatu turns on the bloodline and he becomes the leader of this group. So it's sort of like Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys side by side with these two dudes, being like the muscle and that do all the dirty work and stuff like that. Like, I think that, and then that might be our War Games match, them against the bloodline.
I didn't think about it that way. That's pretty good thinking right there. Because that would be something different. It would make sense.
And apparently OTM, storyline wise, apparently come from Oakland, California, grew up with Royce Keys. You know what I mean? So they could work in a lot of history there, a lot of story within there.
That would be interesting, but I do think it is going to be a little bit of time before we do get there. But I am curious to see when they're going to pull the trigger on Jacob Fatu turning on Roman Reigns, because I think that man, if they can freaking execute that perfectly, it could really take Jacob Fatu to that world championship, and that's honestly the direction that I genuinely want with Jacob Fatu. I know a lot of people are saying Obafemi versus Roman for WrestleMania. I don't want that. I want Jacob Fatu to get that championship from Roman.
I don't think it's gonna be that, but
I know.
Jacob Fatu didn't come out to help him on Monday.
Well, he was told not to. But I can't wait to see what's gonna happen there, because I'm loving the animosity that's been built up with the Usos and him as well. And now with the Usos and OTM, I could definitely get behind that.
Stay off social media, by the way, because they are SmackDown this week's going to be taped, and then they're going to be taping Raw on Monday. They're taping it on Friday. So spoilers are going to be, especially on Twitter, spoilers are going to be fucking everywhere. So stay off social media if you don't want to know what happens on Monday. Because we have Roman coming back. We have a lot of things that are going to be happening on Monday. But unfortunately, it's going to be a tape show.
Are you going to be watching the tape show?
I will be watching it. Yes, I usually put my
But I thought you don't like tape shows and you refuse to watch them.
I don't, but it's WWE. It's either that or I just don't stream, and I can't just not stream and make content.
Well, you need to start freaking watching the tape TNAs. I saw you in your live watch along for Lockdown. You looked like you were enjoying yourself.
I wasn't even live for Lockdown.
Oh, you weren't?
No. I was going to, and then I didn't realize the show started at fucking 5, and kids were starting school this week, and I just had so much stuff
I'm talking about in the live chat. You were going crazy in the live chat. That's what I meant.
So
you were marking out for that entire pay-per-view, it seemed.
Hey man, the show was good. I liked it.
All right, well, with that being said, it's time we get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors, but it looks like Rod Muddy sent in a video. Did he accept Phil's all-in predictions? Let's find out.
Let's hear it out.
Phil. Our first match, huh? AEW all-in predictions? That's the best you got? You want to play fuck around and find out? Well, your ass is on. I'll see your ass this week, buddy. Go polish my belt. How about that?
Damn. Short and sweet.
Bro, we got to get this guy a live mic on a Monday Night Raw. He needs to fucking cut a promo on Roman Reigns, bro.
He really does. But with that being said, time for the news. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the latest headliners, the rumors, the contracts, the controversy, who's pissed off this week, good booking, bad booking. It's time for the We Are Wrestling weekly news and
rumors.
You fucking mark!
It's time for the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors, and we're going to try to rapid fire through them. Usually we pick 3, but because it is all-in predictions, we are going to be only talking about 2 things here. Nothing crazy happened, but I thought this would be a good little short discussion because this individual on WWE, well, mostly in AAA, he really hates us wrestling marks that do podcasts and stuff. Us trying to be bookers. Well, WWE superstar Angel Garza tells fans they would all suck as writers. And he said this on X. Wanting everything in one show. No story, just going straight to the climax and finishing it. That's why you don't work on this. Keep your ass at home and stay tuned. What's your thoughts on that take?
I mean, I don't know
back.
who I was talking to or responding to. But I talk about it here every week on the podcast. Like I emphasize all the time how important storytelling is in pro wrestling. Like, if you want just the matches, go watch UFC. You know what I mean? But pro wrestling is all about the theatrics. It's all about the story. It's all about, the bad guy versus the good guy. Like, like the heel versus the face is, the superhero versus the villain. You know what I mean? So I don't exactly know who he was responding to or talking to in that particular tweet. I don't follow the fucking guy, so I don't follow any pro wrestlers on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. But I damn sure know he was not talking to this guy
or this guy,
because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know what makes a good fucking show, and we talk about it here every week.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't freaking talking about us, because if he was, next time at We Are Wrestling,
he was probably talking about some asshole that's a fucking AEW fan, be like, 5-star matches, man, that's what we need.
Well, with Angel Garza, I do think, of course, I think a lot of people do discredit, I think a lot of people think it is super, super easy to write these shows. And that's one thing that, I will say, at times, of course, we do get caught up and we, do get a little bit of an ego and we do think that, okay, we could do better than what they're doing in the writer's room. But I do think, when it's all said and done in professional wrestling, regardless what promotion, regardless what company, I do think that being a head writer is the hardest job in wrestling because guess what? At the end of the day, you're not going to make anybody happy. You're not. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're going to make maybe 25% of these people happy, but if you do this, maybe 50% aren't going to like that. So, I could understand what he's saying, but at the same time, too, I know there's a lot that goes into it that we probably don't know because we're not in Stamford, Connecticut. We're not in those writing rooms. Because there's a lot of politics in pro wrestling as well.
Because you see it on Unreal doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about.
That is true. But I do think that, it's okay for fans to fantasy book and, create different ideas and stuff. I really don't think that there's an issue with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he's getting triggered by some people in the IWC saying that they could be writers. Clearly they're trolling.
Yeah, I feel like people love to get a rise, especially whether it's a pro wrestler or a D-list celebrity or whatever, they just get so easily triggered by fucking, a troll with 39 followers and a fucking picture of Roman Reigns as their profile picture or Kenny Omega as their profile picture. It's just fucking absolutely hilarious to me.
And that's why, I'm never fazed by trolls.
And when it comes to being a pro wrestling writer, obviously,
mentions.
Obviously, I've never done it, but I feel like I have some kind of knowledge because I've been watching for a long time. But you need to know TV production, you need to know camera angles, you need to know, sound, what scenery you want this in this segment, vice versa. So it's more than just writing. Kenny Omega does a leg sweep. Will Ospreay says this in this promo. There's just so much more that goes into it. You know what I mean? But I do feel like there's a lot of fans, especially fans like me and you, that we do have some good ideas as far as like pushing forth a story, or getting hype around a match or for a PLE or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying like fans know everything, because we don't. But we do have some good ideas, and if you listen to them, you might it might spark your creativity even further.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I do think, like, when it's all said and done, like, it really just comes down to creativity. And, like, I do think that there is people in the IWC, not saying everybody, but there is a certain audience, and I would, like, really say, like, people that are probably in your live chats, the people that are in mine. Like, I do firmly, like, genuinely believe that, like, we somewhat know what we're talking about. And, like, I do think that, like, realistically, they could do better. Like, I think, like, some of these, like, creative writers need to listen to the IWC a little bit when it's all said and done, because like, sometimes, like, the old way just isn't always what's going to work.
Like, for instance, like having Jade Cargill and Lash Legend all over SmackDown, but yet, not retaining a guy like Ilya Dragunov, who was arguably one of the best workers in the entire fucking business. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, Triple H is telling us to start blaming the talent and not creative, but it's like, how can you justify, like, misusing Ilya Dragunov? Like,
and you weren't even that big of a fan of him. You weren't even that big of a fan of him. And then he came back, won the U.S. title, carried fucking SmackDown, had a great story with Carmelo Hayes. Then he just he won he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then he just that was his last match in WWE. And then a report came out saying that Ilya Dragunov was not a draw. So we didn't want to retain. They wanted to retain his contract, but for less money. And a guy like Ilya Dragunov, he wasn't breaking the bank or anything like that. He wasn't making fucking Roman Reigns type money.
Dude,
so like, how much less money did you want this fucking guy to take for the amount of work that he's putting in? But yeah, you have fucking Jade Cargill stumbling around with her 2 left feet on fucking SmackDown.
When it's all said and done, as soon as I knew, like, Brock, like, did not sell, like, Ilya, like, he didn't sell Dragunov, like, I knew, like, that was it.
The fact that you had both Dragunov and Gunther on the main roster, and you did not have a program with them two heading into, like, a PLE is fucking mind-blowing to me. Like, how do you fumble that? I don't understand.
And that's why fans do critique the writers and creative, and that's why, like, I understand what Garza's saying, because, like, if you really look at, like, the job title and, like, doing the job, it's hard. But at the same time, I also have to question the creative writers in all of these promotions, because there is so much talent. I think right now, like, in the business, there's never been this much talent, ever. Yeah. But, here, old school Phil, man, says it best right here. Always easy to criticize a meal until you're trying to cook it yourself.
Oh, 100%.
Tyrus, it's pretty funny coming from Garza.
But
he has no writing, no show.
But also, I feel like if they're expecting us to pay for that meal, we have the right to criticize it.
Oh, 100%. I agree. And you see, that's, like, exactly where, like, I'm kind of in the middle here with Garza's comment. But, hey, look at that. I got a best one here. DTA in the live chat. Best one, Donnie's back. Must be hurt. He's been carrying this whole pod. Oh, man, I appreciate it, dude. It has been hurting a little bit. And I do need a new follow.
Get a fucking ice pack, you asshole.
All right, well, we have one more weekly news and rumors topic, and then we'll get into the AEW All-In predictions. So here we go. Tony Khan's AEW All-In London media call highlights. So there was a lot that he talked about in these interviews this past week, and I do have some of the highlights here. Danny, I know you have no idea of any of this stuff, so I will fill you in. Same with the We Are Wrestling Maniacs. So here are some of the highlights I got from this media call. All In is approaching a $6 million gate, and then some. AEW All In London will be by far the company's largest pay-per-view on HBO Max. Tony Khan confirmed that Willow Nightingale is dealing with a broken hand, but still will wrestle against Mercedes for the championship. Tony Khan was asked about the possibility of Britt Baker making her comeback to AEW at All In. He said he knows fans are always excited about Britt and asking about her, as will all questions about people returning. Stay tuned. Good way to shut that down. And here is one of the bigger things that Tony Khan said that I feel like you and I can kind of give our thoughts on. There will be only 8 matches on the main All In card. The show is supposed to be paced out right now to go 4 hours. So I want to know your thoughts on this, because every AEW pay-per-view since the very beginning, they have had usually 10 to 12 matches on the main card. This show's having 8. And then, of course, with AEW All In being 4 hours, a lot of the times we get done watching these shows 6 to 7 hours afterwards. Do you think that they're able to pace this and keep it at 4 hours? Because the last couple weeks of Dynamite, except for the go-home show, did go over a half hour. So it was 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Do I think it's going to be 4 hours or less? Absolutely fucking not, bro. This is the biggest show of the entire year for AEW. I mean, Redemption in fucking Montreal, you know, they started early. They started an hour early, bro. They started at 7 p.m. And I think the main event went off at like 11:30, somewhere around there, you know, which is, you know, still a horrible fucking time, especially when you do it on Sunday. I've heard somewhere that because like I guess the UK or whatever has like a strict like a curfew or something like that. So like they have to be done at a certain time. Maybe that's why Tony Khan said this. So if you know the country of the UK or whatever, like whoever, you know, the embassy or whatever is like, you can do this, but you have to be done at this time. Then, you know, he's gonna have no choice but to rush some things. You know what I mean? Tony needs to realize one thing. Not every single match on the fucking card needs to be over 20 minutes long, bro. It does not need to happen.
Not every match, but you do need to have some on the card that do go over 20. Not
the most important matches. Yes.
Agreed.
The Bucks and Cage and Copeland. Yes, that should be about 20 minutes. The main event, I could say go 45 minutes. That's a big match. But like, you don't need fucking like, just, you know, for reference or whatever, Darby Allin versus fucking Nick Wayne. You know, if that match were to happen on the card, I know it's not. Just, you know, just for reference. But like a match like that does not need to go like 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
I do see what you're saying there, and I agree. And I think AEW could reach that 4 hour point for All In, because they're not like WWE where after every match you're getting hit with 5 to 10 minutes worth of ads.
Yeah.
They do immediately go to the next match. Sometimes they'll have a little video package or something related to the show. I think they're capable of doing this, and I hope this works out. Because I do think that AEW does need to pace their shows a little better. That's been my number one critique with their weekly shows, with Dynamite in particular. I think Collision's been a little bit better because they do pace it and they're not rushing everything where it's go.
Are they still doing Collision on Saturday?
Yes.
So we still have time for Tony to add a couple more matches to the card. I'm hoping and praying.
Nope, they already said 8 matches is the number for the main show. There will be some pre-show matches because they do have 2 hours for the pre-show, similar to what WWE does.
Okay, that's good.
But I just think in general, like when it's all said and done, I hope that this works out, because if we could just pace the shows with AEW, I think we would be having different conversations about it. Like, I don't think that a lot of fans would be saying this is half in instead of all in. And I think with Dynamite, the problem is that it's go, go, go. Like, immediately, it's Wednesday, you know what that means? Like, it's like a machine gun. We don't need that. Let's pace the show out. take our time. Let us fans digest what is happening right now. And that's why the go-home show was fucking dog shit. Because they just try to rush it and just cram in everything. And I really think that this whole Continental Cup thing, that's what really killed this entire buildup for All In.
We don't need the Continental Classic, which is going to be happening in like November, and the Continental Cup, which is essentially the same fucking thing. You do tournaments when you're creatively bankrupt and you don't have any other creative ideas to do.
But we just got done with the Owen Hart Cup, so like, why do we need to do a Continental?
AEW does excessive tournaments, bro, because Tony Khan doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, and WWE does too. This fucking AAA tournament. I like that they're showcasing the luchadors and stuff, but it's so predictable.
It is predictable, but the Lucha Brothers is going to be a fantastic match on
Yes,
Monday.
it is, but so predictable.
And it's hopefully going to be leading to the Lucha Brothers versus the Usos.
Oh, WWE ain't going to do that. Not yet.
Yes, it
Not
will.
for a while.
There's a reason why they're doing Penta versus Roman Reigns, bro. There's a reason. The Usos are going to get involved. Rey Fenix is going to get involved. Roman is obviously going to pick up the win, and then they're going to end up building a match for Usos versus the Lucha Brothers. I'm telling you this right the fuck now. It's going to happen. Be ready for it.
I'm hoping. But, man, I don't know. I just really hope AEW can start pacing things out. This will be the real test. This will be. And I hope that it does work out, because I really don't want to be sitting here from, 12 in the afternoon till about, 10 o'clock at night. Don't want to be doing that.
It'll be over by 5. We'll still have a good portion of the day to fucking do, fuck off and do whatever we want to do.
That is true, but let's see here what we got from the live chat. We got Old School Phil, Voice of the Faithful. AEW All In predictions this year felt less like fantasy wrestling and more like filling out a March Madness bracket for a community college. That is a good spot on. Comparison. I like that. Ooh, Angelo isn't even gonna have. They're not even gonna have the New Day debuting on the main show, which we will talk about in our predictions. So I think we covered everything here for the news. What do you say we get into the predictions?
Let's get into the predictions, man. I'm fucking ready.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into our predictions, just got the notification. Old School Phil did send in some money to get his video played here before the main event. So, all right, let's see what Phil's gonna fill us in on this week.
Let's go, Phil.
Have you watched Robbie's video?
I'll see your ass this week!
God, he looks so angry. I mean, but I'd be angry too. I mean, imagine spending all day convincing somebody that a 2017 Altima is really just worth the money, and then getting home to discover that no one's looked for you on Spotify yet again. But I gotta give Todd credit. The confidence is fucking incredible. I mean, you sell cars for a living and have 3 listeners on Spotify, yet you're talking to me like I'm the one who needs to be worried? Tony, you say you're coming for my championship, but brother, you sell used cars and make rap music that no one's listening to. The only thing you've successfully taken from anybody is a credit score trying to put them in a shitty used car. As far as my predictions go, Will Ospreay, Willow Nightingale, the Young Bucks, the Brawling Birds, Kensuke Kateshita Piteka shit, I don't fucking care, Kevin Knight, John Moxley, MJF for the Battle Royal, Hangman and Bandito. So there you go, Robbie. Those are my picks. That's all you're getting from me, though, because you know what? When all this is over, you can go back to selling cars, and I'm going to go back to doing what I've been doing. And that's being a fucking champion. Let me fill you in on something.
Them are fighting words, man. Again, why does our podcast have better storytelling than both the biggest companies on the planet? Why?
I couldn't tell you this, but wow, man, Phil just cut maybe one of the best promos so far. That was
Bro.
coming at Rod Money for taking people's credits.
We need to dust off your trampoline, bro, because I want to see this match.
Right? Oh man, we need to make We Are Wrestling a backyard fed.
We should.
Oh man. Let's see. Angelo saying the champ paying disrespectful. Well, you see, Phil doesn't. The funny thing is, like, he doesn't have to pay, but like, he like wants it to be guaranteed being shown on the pod, and that's why like he does pay to get these videos played. And man, old school. I gotta say, man, I'm impressed with Phil's new character change here lately. Like, I like this new side of Phil, even though he is coming off as a little bit of an arrogant asshole. I'm liking this like new confidence that he has.
Absolutely, man.
Making that Thunder title.
And he's not
prestigious.
arrogant, he's confident.
He's confident. I like that. Then we have Tyrus here. No WWE writer could do what Phil and Rod do here. Attitude Era feelings. Here he is in the live chat. Todd is beneath me. Oh,
Fantastic.
Man. Old school Phil with another masterclass promo. His predictions are in. We'll probably do a recap like thing on social media with him and Rod Buddies. Rod Buddy, I'm sure he'll send his in within the next couple days. Just accepted the challenge literally today. So it seems like Phil right now is playing chess. Rod Buddy's playing checkers. So I think it's time we get into the main event and get into our predictions for AEW All In.
Let's get into it, bro.
Oh yeah, it's time for the main event, which is AEW All In 2026 predictions. So if this is your first time listening to what We Are Wrestling Podcast predictions, the way we like to do this is talk about the build-up, go into AEW All In, we go over the matches, we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll pick our winner. We're not just going to give you a winner next. So just to put that out there, we like to have some fun here with our all-in predictions, and we might as well start this off by talking about the build-up towards this year's all-in. What was your thoughts on it?
I gotta be honest, man. I'm extremely disappointed. I just, especially the last couple weeks on TV, like I just don't feel like Tony Khan was really bothered to bring the kind of energy that you would expect, knowing that this is the biggest show that he's gonna have all year. And it just, he's booking this like it's just like it's Wrestle Dream in October or whatever. Like you don't really feel the importance of it. So I'm pretty disappointed.
Hey, I am a huge AEW fan. You know that. You and I, we go back and forth maybe 3 to 4 times a week when it's an AEW discussion in our group chat. But I gotta say, man, I'm pretty disappointed in this build-up. And I think usually the pay-per-view build-ups aren't as bad as this, but I think this might go down as one of the worst build-ups for an AEW pay-per-view.
And it's the biggest show of the year.
And it's their biggest show of the year, which really disappoints me. Like, I know this show is going to deliver. Like, I think the match card is sick. But the problem is, these build-ups, it just feels like it's been half-assed. It's like when you go to McDonald's and like you order like a fry, but it's like been sitting there and then they put it back in the fry-o-lator and they give it to you again. That's how it feels here with the AEW All-In build-up. And it really does disappoint me because I know that they're capable of doing more. Like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, how do you have the big face-off promo right away? And then you have 5 weeks with really nothing to show.
Kenny Omega, the world champion, didn't even bother to be on the go-home show.
He wasn't even on the go-home show. And, like, you could say all you want about your part-time champs like Brock Lesnar and
Roman Reigns would never miss the fucking go-home of WrestleMania.
But the go-home episodes, those stars are there to build the fight. So I don't understand why we didn't get Kenny Omega here. And it just really felt lazy, which really disappoints me because I think storytelling-wise, you really could tell an Austin Rock WrestleMania 17 style thing with these two because they're that good. They're our generation. Like, they are the big stars outside of WWE. And, like, they really didn't give us anything. And if you really look at that video package we got at the end of the show, which was very good, by the way.
Yep, they played Bad Omens, House of Cards.
A lot of that stuff is from years ago, not even from Double or Nothing to this year's All In.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really don't know what the hell is going on here. Adam Copeland and Christian with the Young Bucks. Like, why couldn't we get, like, maybe Copeland and Christian as, like, heels versus the Young Bucks? Like, it just felt flat. Like, it felt like they were trying to build, like, this dream match. But it's like, we already have that with, like, they're already trying to do that with Kenny and Ospreay. So it's like, why are we doing this with Cope and Christian and Young Bucks? Like, they could have definitely done so much more with that, too.
Yeah.
I am so disappointed in the build. And then also, don't get me wrong, I love the Casino Gauntlet. I love that it's a ritual for All In because it's different, where, like, people are going to keep coming out until we get a winner. I love that.
Didn't they just do a Casino Gauntlet, though, like, fucking 2 or 3 pay-per-views back? I swear they did.
Not that one in particular. This is different than what you're thinking of, I believe. But, like, MJF and Andrade, I know they're trying to probably build up a longer storyline with the two. And, like, they both are in the... I get it, because the winner gets a shot at the title, but it's like, I think it would just be a bigger match if it was just Andrade versus MJF in a one-on-one situation. And then also, Swerve Strickland, we know what he's probably going to end up doing, but, like, he's not even advertised to be on the card.
I know. They didn't even talk about his match last night, I don't think.
And then Tekla, she's had a long title reign with the Women's Championship. They put a lot of stock into her, but then Willow ended up winning the title at Redemption. Haven't seen anything from Tekla. I think that her versus Mercedes would have been better than the Willow. I
think Willow is fantastic. I honestly think
great.
I'm
glad she got the championship and she deserves it.
I think of all the matches on the card, I'm most excited for her and Mercedes, and I think
they have done good storytelling with that.
I do think they've had the best build for any of the matches on this card.
I do think that they probably do have the best build up out of all the matches that we're going to be talking about here. I do agree. I just wish that Tekla got that moment because they really did put a lot of stock into her. And then they kind of just, like, right at the last minute before your biggest show, she's not even on the card as of right now. But I don't know. There's so much things I would have done better here, and I know you agree. But I think it's time that we get into the matches. But we have We Are Wrestling member Bradley here saying no effort in the build-up for All In.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And you have to remember, like, and I bring it up all the time, and I don't mean to be a broken record, but, like, this is the same company that had the MJF and CM Punk feud, the FTR and the Briscoe brother feud, the Hollywood ending with Mariah May and Tony Storm, Hangman and Swerve, like
MJF and Adam Cole.
MJF versus Adam Cole, with the devil got revealed. Like, so, like, I don't want to hear that Tony Khan's not capable of doing that level of storytelling. Bullshit, because he's done it before.
Agree with you on that. Angelo, remember Donnie? Rock did a main event Wembley. To be fair, that interview that Will Ospreay did, those news reporters didn't even know anything about AEW or what they were doing. All they were talking about was The Rock. So, of course, Ospreay's going to say something in that regard. Yeah. Talking about Wembley with AEW at the same time. So, to be fair, can't really blame Ospreay for making a comment like that, because if you do watch the full interview,
well, I think he said it for the first.
Rock that they were
I know the interview that you talk about, but I think the first time that he mentioned it was with Ariel Helwani on air, because he did like an hour-long interview with Ariel Helwani, and I think he mentioned that because Ariel likes to bring up WWE and the competition.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Like, I know, like, you're trying to get the best clips and stuff, but, like, I wish that they would talk more about just AEW. And, like, I hate that the IWC is, like, coming at AEW for, like, talking about WWE here, but, like, literally all the news reporters are fucking asking him WWE related questions.
And it's not just them, bro. Like you go on,
Everybody.
You go on fucking Jeff Jarrett's podcast or this podcast, that podcast, anybody that's associated with AEW, they're reviewing fucking WWE PLEs.
I know.
Bro, Jeff Jarrett did like a 30-minute video reviewing the build up for fucking SummerSlam.
Yeah, but he's a legend in the business. He's a former WWE.
Well, he
guy.
signed to AEW. That's what I'm saying. I never hear these people talking about AEW. They always talk about WWE.
But I'm talking about Media Week.
Yeah.
Like all the interviews that like they're doing this week, all these like news sources and stuff, they're all just asking WWE related stuff.
Bro, that's because they're not WWE. They're not pro wrestling fans. They don't fucking know anything other than WWE.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying you can't blame AEW people for talking about WWE when you're literally getting asked about WWE.
I guess.
All right,
blame
well,
Conrad.
let's get into the matches here. And we might as well start off with a buy-in match that actually just got confirmed earlier today. We're going to be getting a massive Trios Championship match. Looks like Hangman, Brody King, and Bandito will be defending their titles against The Demand, The Guns, The Gun Club, The Collaboration, The Dogs, The Death Riders, and a mystery trio tag team, which I think we all know is rumored to be Swerve with Kofi and Xavier.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on this match?
Outside of Kofi and Xavier, I would be lying if I said I was excited for this. I hate putting singles, wrestlers in a random ass team for no reason because you want him to have a fucking title, and that's the only reason why Hangman is with Brodito is because he can't go after the AEW World Championship anymore, and they're not going to downgrade him to the TNT Championship, so they're going to fucking give him the Trios title, and they're just going to fling with it. And if I remember correctly, when Hobbs left AEW to go to WWE, I believe he was again in this situation to where he was paired with two guys and given the Trios titles for no other reason than Hobbs had to drop the Trios titles because he was going to WWE. It's lazy booking, it's mediocre booking. I can't stand it. As much of a fan as I am of Clark Connors and the Dogs is just not doing it for me, man. David Finlay, I was excited for him to come into the company, but he gets no reaction. The fans don't care about what he's doing. Everything that he does is fucking mediocre, and I'm not a fan of them at all. The conglomeration, they're pretty much jobbers at this point. They shouldn't be because Undisputed Era and NXT was sort of like a fucking super group. Like they were fucking at the top of the world and they had Adam Cole as a leader. Now they're
I wouldn't say jobbers because they do win matches and jobbers.
Well, yes, but they're not. I wouldn't exactly say they're at the top of the fucking card, if you know what I mean. Nobody gives a shit about what they're doing.
They are on TV weekly and they are doing stuff.
I feel like there's only two teams in this that I actually care about, and that's the Gun Club and the fucking the Demand. I still think, even though there's a lot of people that don't like it, I think that Totally on a Bishop Khan and Ricochet look really good together. If you had no idea who Ricochet was or anything that he did prior to this, you would literally think that all three of them were fucking blood brothers, legitimately. You know what I mean?
I like
so they look like a legit team, and that's one thing that we're fucking lacking in a lot of the shows today.
Wait, what about the Death Riders being in this?
Bro, Death Riders again, they don't. Outside of Moxley, the Death Riders are pretty much on the same level as the Judgment Day. I think they're not really doing anything that's really mind blowing or fucking affecting TV ratings and stuff like that. Everything is Moxie. Even so much so as Moxie choked the fuck out of Claudio last night. They should have. If it was up to me, I would have had Claudio beat Moxie last night. That would have fucking developed the story heading into this match, and then they could have gone on to have some kind of a
Claudio
feud.
did beat Moxley prior,
but still, you legitimately had Moxie fucking choking this guy out last night. You know what I mean? And it was the fucking it was just mediocre to me. I didn't really care for it. So outside of Moxley, does anybody really care about the Death Riders? I don't think so.
I really do like this trios match, especially being in the buy-in. I think that this is going to be a really fun match. I love that a lot of talented guys are going to be getting an opportunity to perform at Wembley. And I actually really like what they've been doing with the trio titles. Like, I hate that Hangman, like, can't go for the world championship anymore. But honestly, just like Cody Rhodes, the man needs a break from that world title. So honestly, like, him teaming with, like, Bandito and Brody King, like, I don't hate it. The Dogs, just like you, I love Clark Cotters. I do see a lot of potential with him. David Finlay, I've never seen the hype. And Gabe Kidd, I don't see that dog that I saw in New Japan. Death Riders, I think that they're a good filler team for this match, because obviously having Wheeler, Claudio, and Garcia, I think is good. Just a nice filler team to be in there who is already established. Collaboration, they're a solid babyface trios group. I don't see a problem with it. Orange Cassidy's over. Kyle and Roddy, we're starting to see a little bit of tension there, which is good. Maybe they'll break that up soon. Gun Club, always love the Guns. By the way, Austin Gunn, underrated rapper. If you haven't seen this freestyle, go follow him on social media.
And shout out to Jay White, who just recently announced that he's going to be having a kid. So,
but Gun Club, I really am excited for them to get an opportunity, because that's one team that I wouldn't mind seeing winning the trio titles again. The Demand, they're perfect together. This is a good role for Ricochet, good role for the other two. And I do think that having the New Day with Swerve, a little bit more of a darker side to the New Day, I think that this does have the potential to work.
yeah, it does have the potential to
Because
work.
I think that they're going to end up doing multiple things where not only are they going to be the trio champs, but I think like New Day, they're going to focus on the tag titles, which I do think, quick little spoiler, Young Bucks are going to win the titles. So I think we are going to get that face-off after the match. That's why I'm saying, like, with them debuting on the buy-in, I know a lot of people feel a very negative feeling towards that. I actually don't mind it at all, because I do think that
But
this
wouldn't
is a
it
good
have
way...
made more? Wouldn't it have made more sense to have Swerve team with somebody else, and then at the end of the Bucks and Cope and Cage match, to have the lights go out, and then you have music playing, you're not sure who it is, and then out comes Kofi and Woods for the very first time. Like, they weren't on the show prior to this. I feel like that pop would have been huge, and people would have been like, "Holy shit! Like, look at what we're building for All Out."
That would be pretty cool. Like, I do see what you're saying there. That would be a great moment, a great reaction. But I think if they are going to have them on the buy-in, you know that there's going to be some surprises throughout this entire main card. Like, there has to be. And now, if there's not, this is a fucking stupid move. I will say that right here, right now. But I think that this is a good way, though, to get people excited. This is a great way to get just people excited about the main card, the main show. And that's the thing, like Mick Foley, he showed up on the Double or Nothing pre-show, and a lot of people were tuning into that. And it seems like AEW, they're not lazy when it comes to their pre-shows, unlike WWE. With WWE, all you get is the same three people sitting at the table, usually, Corey Graves, Big E, and somebody else, just talking about the matches. That's it.
Well, they're hyping up the show. But what I would have
all in, I like that it's just spread out. Like, they spread everything
what
out.
What I would have done, especially with Hangman, what I would have done with it is it's sort of something like that I talked about before. I would have had a feud with him and MJF going into the show, and then you could, that way, if and the stipulation can be if Hangman beats MJF, that he has to reverse the stipulation for him to be able to fight for the world title again.
I would have liked that.
And you could have had a story going into the show with him. You could have had Hangman beat MJF because of Andrade, leading to a story for All Out for Andrade versus MJF, and it would have allowed Hangman to go back for the world title. That way, he's in the world title picture, and we could possibly get a Hangman and Ospreay feud. That's what I would have done. That would have made it a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely agree to a certain extent, because I do kind of want a little break from him with the title, but I do hope eventually they do something like that. But who do we have winning this match? A lot of teams.
I'm just gonna go out on a whim and say the Demand.
All right.
I originally was gonna go with Kofi, Woods, and Swerve, but if they are gonna be going after the tag titles, they don't need the trios titles. So, but also, do you have them lose on their first match in the company? You got to look at that as well. So it's a double-edged sword.
I think it's going to go to New Day and Swerve. I think that they're going to win the trio titles because honestly, they want it all. It's going to be a takeover. And that's, I think, what they're going to do now with the three. And I think, like, we're going to get something really cool out of this. That's what I'm hoping, at least. So going into this, like, I do think Swerve and New Day are going to win the trio titles. But I think that this will be a fun match. All right, moving on to the next potential buy-in match. Because, of course, we are live on Thursday, August 27th. So, of course, like, Collision hasn't happened yet, so we don't have the full buy-in card. But potentially, Tony was talking about this in the media call, possibly having a women's casino gauntlet match during the buy-in to give some of the women an opportunity. So if we were to fantasy book this, like anybody on the roster, who do you have here win this?
Can it be anybody, or is there anybody that's named for this match?
There's nobody confirmed yet. Like I said, this is a match that isn't 100% confirmed right now, but
And the winner of this gets a world title opportunity.
Yep. Anybody on the women's roster? I think Britt Baker.
You see, with her being she hasn't been seen in like 2.5, 3 years almost. I would not have her return on the fucking pre-show.
What? All in?
On the pre-show, I could see her showing up in the world title match at the end of the world title match, starting a program there. But I wouldn't have her show up on the pre-show, bro. Because like, how many people don't watch the pre-show? They'll end up going on Twitter and be like, "Wait, Britt Baker showed up." You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that you'd be surprised how many people don't watch the pre-show.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised on how many people do watch the pre-show.
A
lot of the people that don't buy the pay-per-views.
I don't think that's fine, but you know. Especially if showing up on that pre-show, people are tuning in. Britt Baker hasn't been seen in years. I don't think you have a return on the pre-show. That's a horrible business move. And it just doesn't make her seem like that big of a star. I would have her show up after the Mercedes and Willow match. That's what I would do.
Make it a big deal. Okay.
I would have to go with Megan Bayne because I feel Megan Bayne, man, she's a powerhouse. I feel like she could be in that discussion, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with. No, I was gonna say Tekla, but I don't know. I think if I were to pick besides Britt Baker, because of course. That's one that, like, we really don't know, like, what's going to happen there. I do think, like, we will see her at the Rebel episode of Dynamite, just because of the history that those two have.
Yeah.
But, Maya World, that's somebody that...
Maya World is fantastic.
That's somebody I could see winning if, like, they did have this. Athena, didn't she already win this last year?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Let's see here.
I feel like she did because I feel like she was on All In last year.
Chris Statlander, I kind of want her to have a break from the world title. Yeah, this is actually kind of tough looking at the roster here and like really picking like who should win. Ruby Soho, I did hear that like she's been cleared, so maybe she'll be in this. I can see that happening.
I can see we did hear about some surprises, so it's been a long time since we've seen her. You know, she was pregnant. She's not anymore.
Ooh, I think I got it.
Who?
So if Britt Baker's not in the match, I'm going to go Thunder Rosa because I think that she could be a perfect first feud for whoever's going to win the women's championship.
Yeah, but do they really look at Thunder Rosa as like a main event?
Well,
person?
she's a good filler feud for whoever is going. Well,
I
think Mercedes is going to win the belt. So I think Mercedes. She needs to have a filler feud with somebody that's already established, and then Thunder Rosa.
I agree. I like Thunder Rosa, and I hate the idea of her going into this match winning just to fucking take a loss. You know what I mean? And just making it super predictable.
Yeah, but you got to have somebody that's established that can at least give her a solid 20.
Yeah, I agree.
Match.
Thunder Rosa is a great worker, so I could
She is,
see
and
it.
I think that
could
that'd be
see
a good feud, and I think that that kind of would get the fire back in Thunder that we do need.
Unless how the rules are escaping me. Is there a certain time frame that you have for the contract or whatever? So like if you win this match, you get an opportunity at the title. Is there like a time frame? Is it like Money in the Bank to where it lasts a year?
I think like the person gets to put the match like because I know you can't cash in anymore. It's like you do get to
you have to
where you want to defend the like where you want to go for the championship. So I think it's
what if Thunder Rosa won this match? Now this is just this fantasy booking. I doubt Tony Khan has the balls to do this.
Harley Cameron, that's a good one.
I doubt Tony Khan has the balls to do this. But what if Thunder Rosa wins this, right? Mercedes beats Willow for the title, and then maybe at Wrestle Dream or World's End, we have Mercedes drop the world title to Thunder Rosa, and then Britt Baker returns, and we have a feud between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa drops the title to Britt Baker.
Run it back, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. That was one of the best women feuds of all time. But honestly, I'm gonna go with Harley Cameron here. I actually really like W Stein 79's comment here because think about it. If Mercedes does win the championship, Harley and her have that history. That would honestly be a good way for Harley to get like some serious reps in, and at the same time, that's a good filler like first feud.
I'm pretty sure it's already been announced that Tony Storm is out for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Tony's out for the rest of the year.
She already made it clear she was done. She won't be back until next year. So, I mean, things could change. She could have wanted a little bit of break, but went home for a couple months and was like, "This is boring. I want to get back to work." So
I know, man. It does stink. Because Tony is awesome. Like she is like one of my favorite women wrestlers currently right now.
Yeah.
But let's get into the main card for All In.
Let's do it, bro.
So we're going to start off with the triple threat match for the AEW International Championship. Kyle Fletcher will be defending the title against Takeshita versus Okada. Match of the night. Said it. Match of the night.
I think it's
gonna fucking cook.
I think it's gonna be one of the matches of the night. Gonna slap. I'm just gonna say my prediction. I'm gonna go with Kyle Fletcher because I feel like Okada and Takeshita are gonna be so worried about each other because of their history and their feud and their hatred for each other that Kyle Fletcher's gonna end up taking advantage of the situation.
I'm gonna go Kyle Fletcher as well because he just won the championship not that long ago, and I just love everything about the Protostar. He is probably one of my favorite AEW wrestlers.
Bro, his vlogs are fucking unreal.
His vlogs are amazing. Everything that man's doing right now is amazing. Like, he's over. But I will say this, if he does lose this triple threat match, they better fucking put this man in the world title picture and give him the title ASAP. Because I really think that Kyle Fletcher is somebody that any wrestling promotion can build the company around him.
I said this on one of my streams recently.
He's that good.
It might have been my redemption stream or Double or Nothing stream. It was one of them. But I was like, bro, if Tony Khan does not within the next 18 months, if he does not put Kyle Fletcher in the main event scene, having him go after the world title, that's going to be a huge missed opportunity. 18 months, that needs to happen, bro. A lot can happen in 18 months. And this guy needs to be thrusted in that top spot.
And I just generally feel like with Kyle Fletcher, everything that this dude touches, it turns pink. And in that term, I'm saying platinum. Like everything he touches is gold.
Yeah, man.
So I do hope that Fletcher does get this big win. And I think that I could see him retaining it. Or it's going to be probably Takeshita. But moving on to the next match here on the card, we have the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. We have Lena Cross and Megan Baines defend the titles against the Brawling Birds, Alex Windsor and JB Hayter.
I'm just going to go out on a whim and say if Megan Bain is in this Casino Gauntlet match in the pre-show, she's going to be banged up. So that's gonna, the Brawling Birds are gonna use that to their advantage. I feel like they're gonna end up winning.
I think it's going to be the Birds because they're at Wembley. They're in the UK. They're going to get a nice home standing ovation. Tony Khan's been talking very highly of both women for the Brawling Birds in his media call.
So I'm still not sold on the fucking name. It's kind of weird, but
I like it. And they've actually built these teams as well. Like, it wasn't just like, all right, let's put two people together. Let's see what works. They've actually built these teams up, which I do like. But I don't think the Brawling Birds need to lose again to Lena and Megan. And I honestly would love to see Megan do something more. I would love to see her maybe go after Maya and go after the TBS championship and then possibly go after the world title eventually. Megan's somebody that they need to build this women's division around. I'm talking long term, like I'm talking within the next year or two.
that's why I said, man. I think Megan Bayne is gonna end up winning the Casino Gauntlet, and then later on in the show, she's gonna drop the tag team titles because she's gonna be focused on the world title.
But I do like this for JB and Alex. I think that this would be a fun win.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next match here we have in the card. One of the most useless matches of the
John
card.
Moxley.
We have the Continental Challenge Cup. John Moxley defending his championship against Nigel McGuinness.
John Moxley.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit, but it's John Moxley.
John Moxley's going to win. I'm excited to see Nigel wrestle anytime he gets to wrestle. It's good.
Isn't he fucking injured or something?
He is injured, but he is able to still wrestle and compete.
Moxley's going to fucking choke him the fuck out.
Well, I do love Nigel. I've always been a big fan of his, going all the way back to TNA as Desmond Wolfe.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good match, I think. But John Moxley is obviously going to win. They, for some reason, have a fetish.
That's what bro, Angela made a great point. How are we supposed to believe a commentator will beat Moxley if Jay White can't even beat him?
Commentator? Yo, you
yeah.
need to go back and fucking watch some of his shit in Ring of Honor, man.
I mean,
do not disrespect Nigel McGuinness. I'm not going to allow you to disrespect him.
He's not lying, though. He is a commentator, bro. It's been a long time since he
Yeah, have you seen the man wrestle the last couple years?
Against Danielson.
Part-time. He still can go.
But I'm just saying, bro, he's not wrong.
No, we're not going to be hating on him.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying he's not fucking
Michael
wrong.
Cole's a commentator.
And Michael Cole's not a fucking wrestler.
Yeah, well, Nigel McGuinness is a wrestler. There's a difference.
Eat a dick. Move on.
I just wish that we'd be doing something more with Moxley. Like this ruined the build up for All In. This whole stupid fucking tournament that's so unnecessary.
It's fucking pointless.
Oh man, Moxley, go take your vacation, please.
Well, if he's gonna be the Continental Champion after this tournament, he's not taking a vacation.
Yeah, I know.
He'll be on fucking Dynamite defending the title against Nick
I just
Wayne
want
on
the Death
Wednesday.
Riders to just turn on him already, and then he could get written off for a little bit, and then he can come back with vengeance.
Oh,
and, be
fighting
excited.
words, bruh. Fighting words, man.
What? Michael Cole has a win over a Hall of Famer, WrestleMania.
Bro, Michael Cole has his WrestleMania win streak is fucking strong, bro.
Wow, WrestleMania 27, man. What a time. What a time to be alive.
Him in that orange fucking singlet.
Oh my god. I did love heel Michael Cole during that time. Just want to put that out there. Shout out to the Cole Binder. And he used to call Daniel Bryan a nerd every week on NXT. All right, moving on to the next match. We have a Falls Count Anywhere for the TNT Championship. Kevin Knight will be defending the title against Darby Allin.
Kevin Knight, I'm a big fan of him. I've talked to him on social media a couple times. Don't want to say we're friends or anything like that, but we've talked. I've congratulated him when he won the TNT title and everything. He's always been cool to me, so I've always been cool to him. But with that being said, I still have balls enough to critique on what he's doing. And I feel like him being a part of the Don Callis family is fucking destroying any kind of momentum that he had. I don't think it's doing any good. I don't think it's not making him into a bigger star. He's just another name added to the car. You know what I mean? So if you want to be treated like a star, you got to be acting like a star. And he cannot be a star in this faction. The Don Callis family is turning into to the NWO towards the end of WCW, where literally everybody on the fucking card had some kind of affiliation with the NWO. It's getting ridiculous. So he needs to leave. And I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't. Don Callis family should just break up. And I'm not saying
absolutely not.
Yes.
I agree with Kevin Knight not being a part of the Don Callis family. I think it is hurting him. I will agree with you with that. But the Don Callis family does not need to go. They are a solid heel faction that are easy to generate heat. It's easy to get your baby faces over by putting your baby faces in the ring against Don Callis family. Because Callis is so good at generating heat. And I think that he makes the people that are in his family better, for the most part. Kevin Knight doesn't need Callis, which is why it's not working. But, like, I think Mark Davis, a lot of his progression, you have to give credit to Don Callis. Kyle Fletcher, another perfect example there.
He's not a fat fuck like he used to be.
But also Kyle Fletcher, he's another guy that I think having Don Callis by his side has really helped him. I think now he's gotten to the point where maybe we need to move on from Callis, but like I just think that it's just easy for your typical bad guy. You put him in there with Don Callis, easy heat, gets your baby faces over. I agree.
Don Callis should become the commissioner of Dynamite, and Mick Foley should be the commissioner of Collision. Let's brand split after All In. I could actually see that, to be honest with you.
That'd be great.
But Tony Khan won't do it because he likes everybody to know that he's the fucking booker of the show. So what's the point?
Yep, just like the TNA guy there, Carlos Silva, that has to fucking sit in his cup.
Oh, yeah, the guy that was getting in the cage after every match to congratulate the winners.
At least Tony Khan stays backstage. At least he does
At least
that.
we don't have to fucking see the guy.
Yeah,
him and his curly-ass hair with that fucking cup.
Unless you go to a live show and, like, he goes out there 90 seconds before they go live.
Bro, I'm surprised they haven't made a fucking Tony Khan action figure with the fucking,
I wish.
you know, with a cup.
They did.
With a cup of coffee.
That'd be great. But I do think that Kevin Knight is going to retain the championship. I do have him retaining. Just because I think we have way too many new champions here.
Darby Allin's in this spot because it's a Falls Count Anywhere match. He's a high-risk guy. He loves doing dangerous stuff, and they want a big moment for Wembley Stadium. That's what this match is.
Agree. But I do have Kevin Knight winning.
I do too.
All right, moving on to the next match here. We have the Men's Casino Gauntlet match, and the winner gets a guaranteed world title shot. Here are the names who are confirmed. At number 1, we have Andrade. At number 2, MJF, and then the rest of these names that are so far been named don't have a number, but if the match continues, you will see them, which is more than likely going to happen. Tommaso Ciampa has put his name in the casino. Mark Davis, a part of the Don Callis family, and Chris Jericho. So those are the names as of right now, us being live.
You're probably
that are confirmed.
You're probably gonna hate me for my answer, man.
All right, who do you got?
I'm going to go with, out of just the names right there, just because I don't know who else is going to be in it. So I don't want to say a certain name or whatever and then him not being in it. Chris Jericho. And here's why.
Okay.
I don't see MJF or Andrade winning again because they're going to be so focused on each other's hatred for each other. And this feud is going to end up carrying on. You're not going to need the world title for that. You know what I mean? So I think that Jericho is going to win, at least out of the names that I picked, you know, that have been announced so far, because I don't know who else is going to be in the match. I don't see MJF and Andrade winning, so I'm going to go with Jericho.
Yeah, because I do think that All Out, we're going to get a match with MJF and Andrade. I do believe that. But out of those names, I don't see Jericho winning. I think he's just there for name value. And I do consider these Casino Gauntlet matches. All right, we got to get you on the card. We got to let you have your moment. And it's just wrestler service because they're in a stadium. They don't ever really get the opportunity to perform in front of 40,000 people. This happens once a year. So they try to get as many people on the card as possible. So, from a human side of it, I feel I feel for Tony. I appreciate what Tony Khan does for them. But damn, if I had to pick somebody that's going to win this, I will say this. Ilya Dragunov will debut here.
Oh, I didn't even think about him.
We got Ricochet before in this, so I think that we're going to end up getting Ilya Dragunov 100%.
Ilya Dragunov. Bro,
but he's not going to
if there has ever been a more better fit for anybody to join AEW, it's fucking Dragunov.
Agree, but if I were to pick like somebody that's like out of these 5, I wouldn't mind Mark Davis winning this.
Yeah, but I mean,
but I wouldn't mind him winning.
Actually,
this him and Ospreay do have history.
They were a part of United Empire together.
Yep.
So I mean, I could see it. I definitely could see it.
But we'll have to wait and see what happens there with the Casino Gauntlet. But real quick, I know it is right now 8:00. Do you need to head out? I could finish this, or do you have a little
I can stay for a few more minutes.
All right, perfect. Let's move on to the next match here on the card. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Cage and Cope will be defending their tag titles against the Young Bucks.
This match is going to be good. You know, everybody calls it a dream match. You know, you have, a legendary team in Adam and Cope, and you have obviously, I wouldn't necessarily say they're a legendary team at the moment. They're still very young for that, but they're definitely a very influential team. I think this is going to be a really good match. It's gonna, I feel like Copeland and Cage are going to end up turning heel because, like, at the moment you have, 3 baby faces and 1 heel because Christian Cage has always been that fucking smug asshole, and we even saw it last night on Dynamite.
Father!
Yeah, so Copeland, I feel like he's going to end up turning, and it's I'm very conflicted. I don't know if Young Bucks win the titles right now, or if we do get Copeland and Cage retaining. That way, maybe at All Out or Wrestle Dream, we end up getting Xavier and Kofi versus Adam Copeland and Cage. It'd be very foolish to have them drop the tag titles just to win it back in like a month or 2 months just so you can get that match with Kofi and Xavier. So I'm kind of conflicted on it because I don't know which creative direction they're going to end up going with Kofi and Xavier show up.
I am curious to see where they're going to go with this. I'm excited for this match. I think that this is going to be one of the underrated matches of the card. And I just think that, like, the Young Bucks getting this opportunity to work with Cage and Cope, I think is so freaking cool because, like, I remember watching Young Bucks versus Hardys for years on the Indies with Ring of Honor. So for them to actually get to work with Cage and Cope, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do here. And I think the Young Bucks are going to win the tag titles. And I think after the match, New Day will come out and we'll get that face-off. Because I do think that Christian and Cope, they had their fun nostalgia tag run. But I do think that they're going to kind of go back to doing singles stuff pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of names that I want to see Christian Cage work with. And there's a lot of names that I definitely want to see Adam Copeland work with.
Absolutely.
So I think Young Bucks are gonna win.
I gotta go with Cope and Cage.
But hey, real quick, we do have our We Are Wrestling champion in here. What's good, everyone? Your We Are Wrestling
Dan Eddie, what's going on, bro?
What is going on? He also has Cage and Cope retaining. Well, you're lucky your title's not on the line because I would take your belt back. I would take my belt back. All right, well, moving on to the next match here on the card, we have the AEW Women's World Championship. Willow Nightingale will be defending her championship against Mercedes Monday. Best build-up of the entire card. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and last night, I think it was last night, I was in the process of doing other things while, like, trying to keep an eye on the show. But Mercedes, like, beat up Willow, like, backstage or in an interview segment or whatever, and, like, it was, like, it was a very dramatic thing. And, like, I do feel like this is one of the better builds for this entire show. It's one of the matches that I'm most looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Willow. I was a big fan of Mercedes when she was Sasha Banks or whatever. And she just hasn't really, like, I haven't really gotten emotionally invested in anything she's really doing outside of, like, the Maya World match that she had was absolutely fucking fantastic. But like Mercedes is phenomenal, and there's nothing that anybody can say to, you know, take away a lot of her credibility. I just, a lot of the things that she does, just I'm not vibing with, and that's okay. You know, she's not for everybody. But I'm looking forward to this match. I feel like Mercedes is going to end up beating Willow.
Has to happen.
And I feel like we see the return of Britt Baker confronting Mercedes, because that's another, you know, TK and his dream matches. That's a dream match that people have been talking about since Mercedes came into the fucking company.
Ooh, and then that way during the Rebel special for Dynamite, you have that women's title match. Maybe Britt Baker pulls the upset, and then we do get a pay-per-view match with Monet and Britt Baker, or a longer program. I like that. But I do think that Willow's not going to win the championship. Mercedes, how many more times can she lose in a world title match? Like, this is her third time going for the world title. Third time's the charm. It's usually in baseball.
Is this her first
3
time
strikes
at
and you're
Wembley?
out.
Or is this, I think is this her first time at Wembley? I can't remember.
No, she was there in the crowd. I remember
She was at the crowd at the first one,
she
right?
was doing the New Japan stuff. Yep.
Yeah, so like this is her first time at Wembley.
All in Texas, she faced Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is her first time at Wembley, man. So what a bigger opportunity than to win the world championship.
Oh, this is going to be great. So I do think that Mercedes and her, they're going to put on a great match. I'm excited. Will Nightingale, big fan of hers. But I do think that Mercedes finally gets the championship. And I really do hope that, like, we could get a really good...
How is this guy the fucking champion, bruh?
What did he say? You want to read it?
Pipeline dream, but Monet loses and ends up back in WWE to help Bailey out. I love that Nightingale reign. Nightingale. That's a Nightingale? Who the fuck is Nightingale? I'm not sure who this Nightingale person is. The name's right there on the fucking image. You can't even fucking remember it.
He didn't have his glasses on.
How's this guy the champion, bro? You failed us.
All I know is that one of the next big AEW events, like, put your money where your mouth is, Dan Eddie, defend the title. At least Old School Phil's defending it against Rod for this. But I got to go with Mercedes. She's winning the belt. No way she loses 3 times. And if she does, I don't know what to say. Maybe I will agree with Dan Eddie if she does lose. All right. And, of course, our main event for AEW All In at Wembley Stadium for the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega will be defending the title against Will Ospreay.
You know, with a match of this magnitude, and I've gone on record to say I feel like the match would have been better suited for MJF versus Ospreay, just because, like, I feel like with a show this big, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't normal AEW fans or whatever, normal AEW watchers that are watching the show, and I feel like they'd be better. They would know MJF a little bit more, if not from pro wrestling, from like his movies stuff, you know, because he was in fucking Happy Gilmore. He's gonna be in Violent Night 2. He's in this and that and this and that and red carpets, everything. So like, even if you don't know him as a pro wrestler, you know him from Hollywood movies and that kind of thing or whatever. So like, you know, it brings up the fan interest a little bit. These two guys are only known if you're a pro wrestling fan, primarily if you grew up a New Japan fan. I didn't know who Will Ospreay or Kenny Omega was until I started watching AEW. And then I remember you used to talk about it and stuff like that. So like, I had no idea who they were. So that your average pro wrestling fan that has no idea where to even watch New Japan, let alone watch it, they're not going to know who any of these guys are. So it just brings the fan interest from a casual standpoint down. With that being said, I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. These guys have a lot of history, especially with New Japan and stuff like that. And we saw it in the video package last night, which I think was phenomenal. Shout out to Bad Omens. I'm a big fan of their band.
Oh, Ricky Knows Best is hyped about this one.
This match is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. But I don't feel like the fan interest is going to be there because of, you know, the lack of star power. These guys are big stars in this realm, but they're not, like, I'm pretty sure these guys can go for a walk down the street to get ice cream without being bothered. Nobody's gonna know who the fuck they are. That's what I'm worried about. You know what I mean? It's you got to bring up the fan interest. That way, that's how you get new fans to want to see your product because they're like, "Oh, I'm familiar with that guy." I started watching AEW because CM Punk signed. If CM Punk was never in AEW, bro, I'm telling you right now, I would have never started watching it. And I became a weekly watcher. You know, you see
Fake
how that
fan.
goes. No, but you see how that goes. Because I was familiar with CM Punk, I liked CM Punk when he was in WWE. I gave this other company an opportunity, and I became a big fan of it. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it would have been better suited for somebody like MJF, especially having like they're trying too hard during this build.
What were you saying?
During this build, they are trying too hard to make Kenny Omega this dickish heel. When you had a dickish heel in MJF that you wouldn't even need to fucking try, and the dude can tell a story in his fucking sleep.
Oh, he's that good. And Danny got Little Caesars. Look
I got pizza, man. See what I do?
Well, I do want to correct you on something about Mercedes because I did forget about this. Monet is 1-0 in Wembley Stadium, AEW All In 2024. She did retain the TBS title against Britt Baker. But yeah, man, getting into this main event match with Kenny and Will Ospreay, I do think that there's better scenarios when it comes to the world title match. I wish that we did get more of a longer, proper build-up here, because this is AEW's WrestleMania. This is their biggest show of the year. So there's no reason why, like, we just got, like, 1 or 2 interactions with these guys and then really nothing else. Like, that video package at the end of Dynamite had most of their past stuff because they did nothing currently. And that's sad. That is so pathetic, in my opinion. I know this match will deliver. This is going to be a great match. Kenny and Ospreay, some of the very best pro wrestlers to ever step foot inside a ring. Whether you love or hate them, you can't deny how talented they are. First-class pro wrestling Hall of Famers. I just wish that with the Kenny title run, it felt rushed because they wanted to have this dream match.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't feel natural. I think maybe having MJF in there as a triple threat would have made a lot more sense. And
like it's predictable. Like, we know Ospreay's he's not going to be going to Wembley Stadium and all these interviews and all these fucking video packages and they've been doing fucking stories about his neck injury or whatever. They're not going to have him going to Wembley Stadium and lose. So it's uber predictable about what's going to happen. I'm waiting to see the visual of it.
Yeah, it does feel very, very predictable here. But if I were to pick who's going to win, it's obvious. Will Ospreay, and I know you agree, but I do have one scenario that I have been thinking about, and I feel like if there's a place to put this into the real world, I think it would be right now, and I think some of you guys will probably be pissed off when I say this, but what if there is that little slight possibility that Kenny Omega ends up retaining the championship with the help of Jon Moxley? All this time, he helped Will Ospreay build this confidence up, and imagine in his home turf, Moxley screws him. That would be a fucking story right there. But do I want that to happen? Not really, only because I do want Will Ospreay to win the championship and be the company guy, because I think it's time that they do put their full trust in him as the top babyface of the company.
I wouldn't mind that from a story aspect. I know they're not going to do it, but you also got to look at the fact that Kenny Omega's in his 40s. He already had half his appendix or whatever taken out. His fucking I heard that, he's going to be going in more of a part-time role, and he's not going to be wrestling full-time after Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at that too. Is the guy, does he want to be a full-time champion, or does he want to sort of ease out into a more of an executive role, Because, the dude's been through some shit, especially since he's been signed to AEW with all this health stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true, because he was really putting his body on the line in New Japan, putting on those
Yeah.
classics and becoming a legend out there.
Yeah.
But overall, I do think that the show is going to deliver. I'm excited about it.
I just wish the building stories, hit a little
But
bit
the
more.
build-up, I did wish it was a lot better. I hate that the inconsistencies of AEW absolutely killing it when it comes to a pay-per-view. But then the weekly shows are just mid. I hate that.
Yeah.
I generally hate that. But is there anything else before we close off this week's episode of the pod?
Nah, man, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It was fun. We broke down some news, went through the fucking the predictions, and make sure you guys go over and subscribe to my channel, Danny Huckins PW. I'll be live tomorrow night for SmackDown, and I will be live on my channel for All In, just like Mr. Best One will be live right here on the We Are Wrestling channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to both and have 2 tabs open, man. Have me up, have him up, and just fucking vibe with both of us, man. It's gonna be a good time.
Ooh, I do want to read this from Tyrus. Mox can turn on Ospreay on the next Dynamite. That would be something.
I can
that
see
would
it
actually
happening.
make Dynamite.
That's
good.
that's more likely than fucking him, having Omega retain.
That would be good, and then maybe we get a champion versus champion match, and we can finally get rid of that fucking Continental title. Do all of us a fucking favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been real. What a great episode this week for the We Are Wrestling pod.
I think we nailed it. I won't be here next
we
week,
did.
so I think you and Ridge are gonna kill it. So I'll see you guys the following week if that's how the scheduling is gonna be.
Yeah, and Rage and I will be giving our predictions for Sunday night main event. I'm so used to calling it Heat.
Oh, that's gonna be such a good show, man.
But I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about next week on the We Are Wrestling pod. Next Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, smash that like button now. Hype this live stream up. Really helps with the algorithm. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet ready and you're listening to this wherever you get your podcast, leave us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and give us a follow. If you're not following us over on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, we're posting wrestling news on there. We're posting clips. And, of course, we got so much additional content on the social medias. Go give us a follow on there. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content, you get the video version of this podcast for free every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be a part of the We Are Wrestling Maniac community. Best way to do that is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications. The link's down in the description box below. Danny does live streams and watch-alongs over on his YouTube channel, Danny Huckins PW. That link is down below.
It's a lot of fun, man.
If you guys are into wrestling figures, I have a whole nother channel, Best One Donnie, where I do toy hunts, I do toy reviews, and I'm even starting to do some figure news and stuff, because the AEW Jazzwares line, they've been starting to do daily reveals, so I don't know if they came up with a new license agreement, but I'll be covering all that over there. And, of course, I do a Best One Haul / studio update every week. So if you guys are into wrestling figures and you guys want more of like an inside look at my life, go over to Best One Donnie. All the links are down in the description box below, including We Are Wrestling socials. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are. Take it over. Peace. There's a pod next week, Dan Eddie. It is going to be me and Rage. I'm waiting for you and I, champ.